Kathy Wood's ARK Invest has taken the pole position in the ETF race, getting ahead of BlackRock, although technically they were already ahead, but refiling with a surveillance sharing agreement to make it basically the same application, leading a lot to believe that they may be the first to get an approval if we do see that. Also, Mastercard making another huge move into crypto. Very clear that the institutions are here. My guest today, Scott Dykstra, said that last time he was on the show. He said, all the institutions are coming, but we were in the depths of the bear market and depression, and everyone was like, nah, man, not right now. Well, he was right. He's going to review all the news with me. We're going to talk about it. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I am Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and reverse fist bump the like button with your tongue. I don't even know how that will work. That's not even science. But do something to the like button. And honestly, I don't judge people. So whatever you choose to do with it or not do with it, that's on you guys. You know what I mean? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is Thursday. Man, a lot has happened this week, but finally we have a somewhat slowed down news day. We can chill a little bit, have a nice conversation with a guest. Lately, it's just been like ETF, drama, Coinbase, SEC, regulator, fire Gary Gensler. Probably gonna do all that again. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's probably gonna happen again right now. But yeah, so listen, we got a lot of news to review today. And I've got one of your favorite guests was on the round table not that long ago, Scott Dykstra. I'm just going to bring him on right now. The intention was that I was going to do the news, and then we were going to just have basically a conversation about Web3 and AI and all the wild stuff that's happening. But Scott's got a big personality, so I figured I'd just bring him on to do the news anyways.
Hey, great to be here, Scott. Thanks for having me.
See, every guest I have now is in the Matrix with that blurry background. Yesterday, it was just like me and a bunch of blurry background people. I'm thinking I got to become one of you guys.
I'm deep in it. I mean, I'm excited to see the news. What do you got for us this morning?
I think you're in the Matrix right now, to be honest. Pretty sure. Here we go. So yeah, no, you're good. So the first one we got Mastercard to continue crypto foray with beta launch of blockchain app store. This is pretty crazy because A, they're launching an app store. B, it's going to be in the United Kingdom first of all places. But this is the first round of apps will be powered by tokenized bank deposits. Tokenized bank deposits are digital representations of traditional bank deposits that can be used on the blockchain. I mean, there's been so much conversation about tokenizing real world assets. I was kind of shocked when they came in first with the tokenizing bank assets. Seemed like that would trigger a whole lot of legacy players to be really upset. I mean, what do you think? First of all, Mastercard's been here a long time. It's not a surprise that they're doing things like this. But Scott, I mean, what's your take on them coming in and doing this specifically? It's pretty wild to me.
Are they tokenizing retail consumers?
It says, yeah, the idea is that they're tokenizing bank deposits. So that basically, that's it. Tokenized bank deposits are digital representations of traditional bank deposits that can be used on the blockchain.
Yeah, they're taking my ACH wire transfer. They're giving me back what I'm guessing is USDC, unless Mastercard has their own stablecoin.
Yeah, and so this is a private blockchain of some sort. So that seems to be the plan, is that maybe they're going to do it with their own internal blockchain and technology, which I found kind of surprising too.
Yeah, we heard this from another major American financial institution that they're building an L2, and I was shocked. I was like, you guys don't even have a website and you're going to go build an L2.
Who is
it? What's that?
Are we talking about Coinbase and Base, or is it something else?
I'm talking about a major American bank.
It's JP Morgan, isn't it?
So no, they have a website.
Yeah.
so Mastercard. So I go do an ACH wire transfer to my Mastercard account. I get back some MUSD on some crazy L2 they built. And then I go bridge that over to ETH, and then I bridge that to Arbitrum, and then I go take a loan out against my own crypto asset. I go buy Bitcoin, and then I loan out an over collateralized loan against my Bitcoin, and now I'm just financial engineering Mastercard.
I like it. I mean, it's crazy how much we're seeing this tokenization narrative starting to come from the institutions, though. Like everyone's talking about the BlackRock ETF, but in their investor letter in March, Larry Fink went on a whole thing about tokenizing assets and that being the future crypto use case, and kind of was like brushed under the rug and nobody talked about it. But if BlackRock is talking about tokenizing real world assets, that's a thing that's definitely coming.
The problem is they're all under the KYC regulation. So they're, my little tongue-in-cheek explanation of like bridging over to ETH, I don't think it's going to happen. I think these are going to be isolated private chains that are KYC'd, and from the front end, you don't even know there's a blockchain on the back end. You're just trading with Mastercard. You just have a Mastercard app. I can't imagine that they'll have a bridge to ETH. This is going to be very isolated.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this will be private blockchains, which is interesting because like that narrative of enterprise blockchains seem to have died kind of in the last cycle. But yeah, it's not like Mastercard, Morgan are going to just have you
privately incubating all of this the whole time. Gensler is just burning down Web3.
So okay, so that's like the tin hat theory, right? Is that Gensler basically is clearing a path for these Wall Street incumbents to come in. I've said it, other people have said it. I mean, is that what you view as happening here? Like they're just going to get the version of this that they want and kill everything else?
How could you not?
Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah, I agree. So listen, moving on from Mastercard to the next one. I beat this story to death yesterday, but TUSD brags about volume milestone after stablecoin depeg. So the depeg was really minor, but basically, and I don't have the tweet here, I showed it yesterday. From the TrueUSD account, while they're getting all this FUD and attacks, clearly like the intern showed up at work today and was like, oh my gosh, we hit a milestone, like 68 million in volume in a day, or billion or whatever it was. And I'm going to tweet about it. And everyone went ape shit on them because, they're custodying with Prime Trust. There's all this FUD going on. Their auditor is the same one as FTX, who rebranded. They only have a single audit coming from this story of TUSD and Prime Trust is absolutely insane. But like, does this shake your confidence at all in this industry? So like, FTX, Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager, Prime Trust is a trusted custodian, and TrueUSD is like the biggest stablecoin being used on Binance since they got rid of BUSD. Doesn't this kind of just make us look like clowns again?
So I saw they got depegged down to like 89 cents on the dollar.
Very briefly on like one exchange, but generally it was only like 99. I think it's repegged right now.
I got it. So temporarily just hit like 89, almost repegged. Everyone went nuts, jumped in.
It was for like 5 seconds. Yeah. There was at no point was it like dramatically depegged, but
and this was all just over woes around like Prime Trust losing a bunch of people's assets.
Right, but it starts with Prime Trust, but then when people started digging into TUSD, it's pretty wild. So we got to the bottom of this yesterday. The last 3 major Bitcoin pumps that were like 20% or more in 7 days were all since BUSD went away, and every time that TrueUSD is minted, including like 1 billion of their 3 billion. So a 50% increase from 2 billion to 3 billion. The hour that Bitcoin was at 24,000 like 10 days ago before it went to 31,000.
Boss, we did it.
It's magic.
You've been looking for us to get a billion liquidity all year. We did it. Finally, we got our liquidity.
Right, yeah, exactly. And so there's some, they can't show their attestations. We don't know where their assets are being held. It's just another one of these sort of like, it reminds me of, and USDT came out smelling like roses, but it reminds me of the Tether stuff 3 or 4 years ago.
The project that I co-founded, Space and Time, is building this massive database for Web3. But I'm thinking like, screw that. I just should build a bot that tracks depegging of random alt stable coins and just cash in month after month.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go straight to the ETF because I know you want to talk about that. So as I said in the beginning, so everyone's talking about the BlackRock ETF. Kathy Wood came out a couple days ago. I was like, there's nothing special in there that we don't have. She refiled with the surveillance sharing agreement, which basically is a way to avoid market manipulation. You share with an exchange. They look into the data and tracking so that you can basically say, well, Gary Gensler loves to say that this is a manipulated market. They can't track it. This basically kills that by saying, hey, we're going to roll with the NASDAQ or with a different exchange. So now Cathie Wood's in first place. So I know you have a lot of thoughts on the ETF. Have at it. Because you did say last time the institutions were coming and everyone was kind of like, nah, not really.
I'm the most bullish I've been in so long. I think my bull was starting to come out last time we chatted. And that's just because we'd been hearing things off, side conversations here and there with institutions that were actually starting to make real moves, which shocked us. And now it's starting to come together, right? I think net, this is fantastic for Bitcoin, for Web3 in general. Everyone's going to raise their hands and say, oh, this is so awful. The U.S. kicked out, the original Web3 incumbents and made room for those that have the capital to lobby to Congress, right? I see it net as a great thing for Bitcoin. We're talking about billions of dollars purchased by each of these institutions to back these ETFs. I mean, you gotta think Saylor is just partying right now.
You have to think so, but it seems like there's a lot of very angry Bitcoiners who see this as the Wall Street takeover. And listen, I guess I can sympathize with that sentiment, but like this is never gonna go mainstream without it going mainstream, and that requires institutions.
I think ethically it's frustrating, and I think as like a degen from the heart of Web3, it's frustrating. But come on, like if you ever want to get real liquidity, if you want to that $1 trillion of market cap to go to 10 trillion or 100 trillion someday, then your grandma has to be buying Bitcoin on her retirement fund through Fidelity. Your grandma has to be able to invest her 401k in Bitcoin because her grandson told her to, right? Like you have to have something that feels like a login to JP Morgan Chase, put your Roth IRA into Bitcoin on a Bitcoin ETF, and you need options liquidity. You need tools that everyday Americans can use. And we were getting so close before the BlackRocks jumped in, and now here we are.
So you think they get approved?
Yeah, it has to.
I don't think that BlackRock applies unless they already know. Isn't that how this works? I mean, it's not like, these guys are the government. It's not like they know the government, like they are the government.
It's going to get approved.
Yeah, I think so too. So listen, I forget this news. The news is super boring, guys. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to even talk about any of it. I'm over it. I just want to talk. So you just talked about the idea that grandma has to be able to buy this ETF, right? Be able to buy Bitcoin ETF in the retirement fund. I 100% agree. So but listen,
she's not going to buy it, but her fund, she's going to be wrapped into some fund that purchases it as a growth asset. And net, that just brings in a lot of liquidity.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it's the biggest thing that's ever happened for Bitcoin. I'm gonna be honest. So it makes me super bullish as well, just like you. But you're building in Web3, right? And we have the same problem. It's like nobody knows how to use this shit.
Yeah.
Right. UX, UI. So let's talk about that side. I know that's what you're really passionate about. How do we fix that? And how do we get mainstream adoption? Like, yeah, grandma's not going to come in and play shrapnel. I know that, right? But come on. What are you building? How do we build this where anyone can go in, click of a button, play a game, not know that they are like dealing with crypto wallets and all of that?
I mean, okay, if you want to start on click a button and play a game, if that's where you want to start, I mean, blockchain is going to be completely abstracted away. I mean, you go play Fortnite, you go buy a skin with a microtransaction. You don't. That could have been theoretical. If that would have been on a chain on the back end, you wouldn't have known anyways. All they're doing is just putting a row of data in a database somewhere saying Scott Melker wants to play as Luke Skywalker or some shit. So
how'd you know?
but more importantly is this, like when do we get like the Web3 Venmo that's so easy to use? And I think the combination of Gensler plus BlackRock plus name your institution that redefine what Web3 looks like in America overnight during the bear while everyone was sleeping except Scott Dykstra. Like what they want is just normal KYC, log into your trading account, log into your brokerage, log into your checking account, and trade crypto the same way you trade Zelle. You'd send a Zelle between Melker and Dykstra, right? They've basically defined the UX for America. Outside of America, outside of the United States, like all bets are off. It's back to, hey, can we, why does a MetaMask login still suck? But I'm saying in America, I think Web3 wallets are effectively, KYC'd.
So you think that, yeah, but like, okay, so we're going to basically just use it like a bank and we're not going to be able to do anything fun.
Does that like disappoint you? Does that kind of feel?
Of course. Yeah, of course it disappoints me because it also means we're not going to have access to a ton of these assets and we're not going to be able to trade the things we want. But I guess when it comes to gaming or something, it's not so massively disappointing because it gets you through the process. But like, you don't go play Fortnite and have to give your ID to do that. So isn't that a massive barrier to entry if we have to KYC to get a wallet to play a video game?
That's probably a greater barrier to entry. But I think the thought is these are already folks that already have these apps. Like they already have the Chase app. They already have the brokerage set up with Mastercard. I don't know.
All right. So talk about the games you're building then. So how does this work? Like walk me through, like, I want to go, I saw, like I said, we've talked about it before, but consensus, I saw Shrapnel, the game was crazy. I was playing with it. But if you're like a brand new person, doesn't know anything about crypto, how do you play this game and take advantage of the Web3 side of it?
Yeah, a lot of these games are just doing classic username, password, like letting you log in the same way you log into Steam. And then once you're logged in, you can, bridge cash with like MoonPay or any of these crypto on-ramp services. And the idea is you go play the game, you go earn weapons or earn prizes or earn accolades, earn something that you own in game or buy something that in game. And they're basically custodying for you. They're holding that asset for you in their own wallet on the back end with your Web2 login. And when you're ready, when you grow up, you get your own little MetaMask wallet, they'll let you transfer that asset over to your real Web3 wallet. That's the idea. It's just start Web2, on-ramp to Web3 when you're ready, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. So you could basically play these games without ever even touching Web3, knowing about Web3, caring about Web3. But if you actually want to get into the digital economy side, then you have to KYC and transfer.
I think the thought is like at some point, a player earns a lot, like, or they have a lot of in-game token, or they have a lot of skins they've purchased. And at some point they're going to wake up and be like, you know what? I should probably custody these. I should take self-custody of these assets that I've bought in game. Whether the player will wake up and do that, that's TBD, And I'm thinking, right, you've got like this is gonna be melding the two concepts of a BlackRock ETF and games that are trying to bring Web2 logins to Web3. But I'm thinking you've got a Bitcoin halving coming next year. You've got approval of a BlackRock ETF coming later this year. You've got institutions like Mastercard jumping in, and there'll be some blending, some meet in the middle where you have like fiat to crypto on ramp via a Stripe, a Mastercard, a back end payment system, Visa probably. I'm sure we're going to hear an announcement from Visa in 2 months. And so what these Web3 games will have to do in the US, I'm guessing next year, is probably on ramp via like Mastercard's Web3 Bitcoin SDK or something. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah,
that's going to be the new MoonPay.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I'm just curious where that line will be, I guess, when people decide I'm playing this game for a living because I can make money. Right. I think that we have a lot of people who are used to the Fortnite side, the skins, even spending money in game. But like, is there a real vision here where people go to play these games as their job?
I think that's always been the vision. I think that's very challenging to accomplish. It's going to depend completely on how good the game is. If that game rocks, then you can build an economy like that. And a lot of Web2 games have already proved that. So what happens is like Bitcoin pumps mid 2024 hopefully at the latest, at the very latest. Yeah. That sends the entire market into a positive disarray. And then you got all these builders that will jump back into Web3 and start building more on-chain games powered by ETH and Bitcoin. And so you'll have this bifurcation between like American institutions allowing your grandma to invest in Bitcoin, while all the people that jumped on the AI hype train for a year come back to crypto as Bitcoin pubs and suddenly start building games again. Watch.
All right, let's talk about AI then. I know it's one of your favorite topics. You just called it the AI hype train and think they're coming back to crypto. I think that's not a very popular opinion.
I mean, I'm on the AI hype train, so I can't. I probably can't be the one saying this, but like, though, if OpenAI keeps shipping and we get like a GPT-5, and GPT-5 is every bit as great as GPT-4 was compared to 3, the hype train could continue, and the S&P 500 is getting a huge pump on every publicly traded company, from Snowflake to Salesforce, trying to tell an AI story to convince the market they have a play, try to convince the street they have a play in AI. That pumps the S&P 500, which creates a little more wealth for people to also buy Bitcoin. So maybe net, just if AI staves off a recession in the US a little bit, that creates a little more wealth to put into Bitcoin. So thanks, AI.
So why not So can we get Bitcoin as the in-game currency for any of these games or for any of this Web3? Isn't that like the wet dream for the Bitcoin maxis? And well, I guess the Web3ers not necessarily. But why aren't we seeing Bitcoin bridged and being used as the economic measure of value within the Web3 ecosystem?
I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to convert to the religion. Starting to join the Church of Bitcoin a little bit. I'm attending Sunday service.
That probably means it's the top or something, and then we're just going to start seeing meme coins pop off. But yeah, go ahead.
Are we calling the top deep in a bear? But no. like the AI. So right now, AI is a big distraction for a lot of Web3 builders. You've got all these, even us. I mean, we're doing some cool stuff with AI on the side. Right now, it's a distraction that's taking a lot of builders away from time spent doing what they probably should be doing, which is building DeFi protocols, building new financial global rails. And so when this hype train ends via sort of that trough of disillusionment where, $400 billion of VC capital that went into crappy AI companies dissolves a little bit via just like startups building little wrappers around OpenAI that kind of suck, combined with a Bitcoin halvening, combined with a BlackRock ETF and 18 other ETFs that come in to follow BlackRock, combined with your grandma making a 401k investment into Bitcoin via some Roth, via some fund that she invested in, who needs Bitcoin as a growth vertical. When you combine all of that, you see a pump in Bitcoin next year, and you see things sort of return to Web3. Right now, AI holds the whole narrative, and it's really important. It's world changing, but it's also going to hit a trough of disillusionment.
Always does.
Bitcoin pumps.
Yeah, I actually tend to agree with that perfectly. I think, like, I'm not trying to time the top of NVIDIA, but there's going to be a top, and we're going to see we're going to see one of those people start naming things Long Island blockchain iced tea. It's going to be like Long Island AI iced tea or whatever, right? And then we're going to see 99% of this stuff go to zero. And we'll see 5 or 10 companies, just like with crypto or the internet bubble, that just massively dominate the whole thing. Are
we looking at puts right now against NVIDIA?
I'm not trying to short NVIDIA right now. I don't know where the top is. I just know that it's overvalued. The thing is, like with the NVIDIA or AI in general, the NVIDIA is priced right now. Like the assumption is that they're going to be the only player in AI that ever makes a chip that anyone likes, right? And we just know that like everybody's going to catch up and they're going to lose market share. So I don't see why after all that movement, that's where you would necessarily be focused.
One more big leg up. Are we buying puts?
Yeah, if I see another big leg up, I'm probably short NVIDIA. I'll be honest. Do you trade a lot? I don't even know.
I buy a lot of puts.
So you like shorting shit? Yeah, you're one of those. Yeah.
No, because what you got to do is you got to put your long-term wealth in ETH or Bitcoin and you just leave it and don't touch it. If you have to touch it, take a loan out against it on Aave or something and put that money into bets.
But not on Celsius. Not on Celsius, though.
Yeah, on Mastercard. Go
short master coin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what here's the real play. If any of these these Mastercard players, what they need to do is allow fully collateralized loans against your Bitcoin. Every 26-year-old, Bitcoin lover in America, it's like, wait, I own $40,000 of Bitcoin and I can get $40,000 of USDC back, or USDT, or US dollar back from.
Gonna blow it on like crack and hookers or something, though. But yeah, or on puts that expire out of the money.
They'll blow it all on Wall Street bets that expire for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do think that the lending side is becoming much more interesting now that the CEFI has kind of died. I know Maple Finance had some, I think they had an announcement yesterday. Were you on here with Sid?
Like a month ago.
That panel was you, Sid, and Josh Frank, right? That was fun. Yeah. But Maple is starting to really make a lot of noise, I think, in the lending side of it. So I do think that we're going to see in DeFi that narrative massively pushed again next year or in the coming years.
And do you think it's going to come to the US KYC with institutions? Like, will I be able to lend US dollars against my assets? Like my ETH or my Bitcoin on, call it Fidelity?
I don't know. I think so.
If you could, that's kind of world changing. You're right. Every 26-year-old will blow it on Wall Street bets that expire. And now they have a $40,000 loan to Fidelity that they're going to struggle to pay off. But that defines the nature of Bitcoin as an asset, right? And isn't that the whole debate? Is Bitcoin like gold, or is it more of like a currency that you want to buy Starbucks with? I've always naively saw Bitcoin as like the gold, not something you just like buy Starbucks with.
Pristine collateral.
And if you're lending against it, you're defining it as pristine collateral. Like you're defining it as collateral you put in the wall or in your savings account, right?
Yeah. I mean, the first time I had Saylor on, he was like, Bitcoin, and this was like a month after he got orange pilled or whatever. He was like, Bitcoin is pristine collateral. He's like, good luck coming to the other side of the planet to get my yacht that I took a loan out against. He's like, go get it. Have fun. Right. He's like, but you can liquidate someone's Bitcoin in 5 seconds. You don't need to go to their house, you transfer it to the wallet, and it's done. Nobody wants to hear that they're going to get liquidated on their Bitcoin, but it is pristine collateral for a loan because it's so easy. For all the reasons people love Bitcoin, it's so easy to transfer. It's so easy to account for. It's so easy to prove where it is. Every bank should be looking to offer loans against it.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch this play out. So, I mean, you're going to have the S&P 500 probably continue to pump for the next 6 months to a year, just purely on the AI hype train, even despite U.S. housing foreclosures. And then whatever wealth is left goes straight to Bitcoin as soon as the happening hits.
I know we're over your time, but I want to know what you're doing in AI that's bridging AI and crypto, because I think there's a lot of ideas, but I haven't seen that much that's really like formalized yet. So what are you guys focusing on there?
Yeah, we got lucky. So our last funding round was backed by Microsoft. They pushed us straight into GPT-4 like in December. So we got a little bit of an early head start before sort of everyone else did in, call it February, March. We built a way to just ask any question about anything on chain via AI. So you say, hey, show me all wallets that have at least, $1,000 of link, or show me, top 10 blocks that, had the most validated rewards, or which wallets are which wallets are most actively trading today on Polygon, and what's their, total volume. Just asking questions, and then AI converts that to a database query, does this massive database search, returns you results. And like the idea is, everyone, the holy grail is understanding what's happening on chain. If you're a DeFi degen, or you're a trader, or you're trying to move monkey picks every evening after work, and making that easier via AI to understand what's happening on chain, bring like on-chain activity to a simple, natural language, easy to understand interface where you just ask any question you want. The Google search of Web3. That's what we're working on.
Where can I get that? That would make my life so much easier. Like for making these shows, I think that would really give us all the data and information we need. We would just need no humans.
It's in beta right now. It's cooking. We're in the kitchen.
Okay, but when? Yeah.
When token? Yeah, honestly, like September. Can you wait a couple months?
Yeah, I can wait a couple months. No, but I mean, that sounds absolutely insane. I hadn't even thought about that side of it. I thought maybe you were building something with gaming and the AI would be involved. But you're literally, I mean, just talking about leveraging ChatGPT to make it way better for crypto. And I haven't even heard anyone talk about that.
We'd already built this massive database with an exact copy of everything across most major chains like ETH, Polygon, Binance, AVAX, SWI, Bitcoin. And so next step is just make that data easy to access. Like, don't make it feel like a database. Just make it feel like a conversation with a friend. Yo, Scott, Melker, what's going on with Ethereum? What's popping on AVAX today?
I mean, that would make my life so much easier. Also, like, I think there's so much that's complicated. It would just simplify a lot of this on-chain research. And I mean, most people want to find things out. They don't know where to look. And once they look, they don't know how to interpret that data. And then you go somewhere else, the data is completely different anyways, because it's all. So
that's the biggest issue is trust, right? The issue we see more often than not is like, how do you trust the data? Like if you go on Nansen and you're looking at, or you go on the TIE, shouts out to Josh, and you're looking through wallet activity, like, are you sure that's accurate?
I mean, yeah, it's very hard to know because they're all pulling from different places, and we know that people are trying to hide the data in the back end anyways, and we don't know what volume is real and what's fake. And if someone owns 10 wallets, it's always like wallet activity's up, and then you dig it's like 4 guys own every single wallet on this protocol. I saw nothing against, but I saw some like crazy data on SUI that there's like just no activity of any sort. Like TVL is like $12 and it's like 7 dudes hanging out in a room. Like, and I've heard that about a lot of these blockchains. Josh from the TIE, he's one of the funniest with that. So I'll be like, so what's happening? I remember in the depths of the bear market, he was like, dude, I looked into Uniswap and it's like 19 people used it like V3 or whatever that day or something. It's pretty crazy.
I'm not surprised at all, which is why I've been kind of embarrassingly orange pilled the last month.
Dude, we all are. You're gonna get I got some like some real Bitcoiners in the chat. They're gonna be look, this guy Cloud Casino, he's talking about you. That smile Scott has, as he says, after the halving, all wealth flows to Bitcoin, makes me giddy and happy. He's in here always, but I think everybody is getting a little bit of like Bitcoin maxi in them.
I seriously think like the U.S. did the U.S. did Web3 dirty, but the final outcome of all this will actually be a positive liquidity inflow to Web3
through Bitcoin. I like it. I mean, that's how the past cycles have always worked, right? Like this time it's different, but everyone buys Bitcoin. They say all coins are dead and all the technology's dead and Web3 is dead. And then Bitcoin chills for a while and all the money flows back down and then it comes back around. And
Web3 is not dead. It's just Web3 is not dead. It's just changing. The Web3 that we know is morphing and evolving, like Optimus Prime.
I don't even know a better way to end.
I'm out. It's too early for me. It's like 6:30.
Scott, do you have any more like brilliant thoughts, ideas, something we didn't discuss before we go?
This was supposed to be, you wanted to chat about AI. I got sidetracked on the orange pill stuff. The only brilliant thought I have to leave you with is this. I am seeing like a path to real AGI. And I think that path is like 2-3 years max. And real AGI will be like a bunch of little large language models strung together. It'll be like a little forest of large language models that came together. And we're talking like 3 years, worst case. So
that's really soon. People better get ready.
So you potentially have this opportunity to what the next wave of Web3 will probably look like, if I had to guess, is like Bitcoin pumps, ushering in more engineering into Web3, ushering in like a new wave of, there was like the DeFi summer and then there's gaming. The next step will probably be like decentralized compute networks, just like a shit ton of compute, fully decentralized, available for large language models to train on which could ironically usher in that era of AGI in 3 years, powered by like some Bitcoin powered, basically all the Bitcoin mining energy that just goes into GPUs. And that's where you say, Scott, why would you then buy a put against NVIDIA if you believe that?
I do believe that. I see
we
people
should buy-
say
maybe NVIDIA is still undervalued.
This is what everyone's gonna say. You mean render? But it's not exactly that. But they've been way ahead of that kind of idea.
Render's ahead of its time.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully they're not too early. But I think, I think that conceptually, that's exactly what you're talking about, but on a much grander scale.
Conceptually, on a grander scale. So maybe NVIDIA still has some room to grow. Maybe.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for your time, guys. I'm going to get out of here because we got Crypto Town Hall in like 30 minutes and I have a whole lot of prep to do. Scott Squared. I saw people talking about it, man. Always a pleasure. Welcome back anytime, guys. Of course, I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thanks, Scott, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Peace, guys. Bye.
That's dope.